No, it wasn't like a shock. My first big show was like maybe for like 120 people in Kingston Mansion, and
Mm-hmm.
it was the perfect full capacity show because I'm from Kingston. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like there was a lot of people that I knew, a lot of people that I knew only kind of, like nobody was like, oh, I hope you're funny because I know you as a musician, and
People
if you
said that to
bomb,
you?
I'm gonna tell you that you should have stuck to music. No, 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 but it's like that's my inner
Oh, that's
monologue
you.
before going
Okay,
on
that was
stage.
your
Is like,
inner.
please
That was
stop.
your inner thing. I
Yeah,
was like, who said that to you? Like, that's awful. I mean,
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
horrible thing to say to
yeah,
yourself,
yeah,
let alone if somebody
yeah,
else
yeah,
said
yeah,
that to you.
yeah. That was my first like my my first 6 months. That was the thing. I was
Hmm.
scared more so than bombing. I was just afraid of somebody coming up to me telling me that I should have stuck to music because like that's
Ah,
why when you're pursuing your dream, you know what I mean. Let alone like I've pursued two dreams now at this
yeah.
point. To fairly competent. Like when you're pursuing a dream, especially when you're known for something else, it's definitely that's it's a pretty big fear. Now I don't
Right.
okay. I've had people tell it to me now, and I'm like, I don't care about your opinion.
Yeah.
So, but at
Good.
the in the beginning, I was like I was
Yeah,
so scared,
I
so
can
scared.
imagine. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This week, my guest is Logan Brown. He's a comedian based in Ottawa. He's also a musician, and I'm glad to have you here. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me this week.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. It's not the setup that I'm used to. This is a little bit of a little bit of a different setup that I'm I don't have my office anymore. That's what happens in a breakup is
uh,
you don't stay with the person despite how cushy the office is and that
uh,
office chair is. So
yeah,
yeah,
I'm
you
sorry
you
about
hit the
that.
road. Oh,
Yeah, I'm sorry
it
about
like
that.
yeah, it happens. It happens. But
Yeah.
we're making do. We're making do. I got the little ring light. I got my cell phone primed. I got the Bluetooth headphones, so there's like no cable connected to my neck or anything. We're good. We're
Yeah, I've
good.
got the
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
because
all
I
good though. You
tried
have a
it with
nice.
I had earbuds like last year or 2 years ago, and they would always
Yeah,
start like screeching and howling or something, and so I just
yeah,
stopped.
yeah. You have the nice red curtain though, so it makes up for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't see the chaos behind me.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I should have figured out that setting actually beforehand too, so it's not just me. It's not just my shadow and I like kind of hanging out here. Yeah. Oh well, yeah.
Oh
Well,
well,
that'll be for the next podcast when
next
I'm a return
podcast.
guest. Yeah,
Yes,
the
exactly. I'll have
premium
you back for sure.
blue velvet. It'll be just blue velvet
Blue
or a new
velvet.
apartment with any luck.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
That works. That
yeah,
works as well.
yeah, yeah.
So we've known each other for I want to say maybe a year, about a year
Yeah, yeah.
or so.
About a year for sure.
Because I
Yeah.
know I think the first time that I met you in person was at Yuck Yucks.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think it might have been one of your first times performing.
Yeah. 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 It
It
would
was
have
at Live
been.
on Elgin.
That's right. Okay, yeah, yeah, that was the first time that we met. Because
Yeah.
I think the first like full conversation we had was at that fucking god awful Gananoque show.
Oh my
No
God.
disrespect, no disrespect. But sometimes road gigs, like again, God bless Yucks for any fucking work they give us. Road gigs suck to begin with, though, and then when they don't pay and it's a road gig audience, you're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
What have I
other
done?
yeah, yeah.
It's true.
Other than paying my dues and getting
Yes.
my reps in for sure. But
Yes.
yeah, yeah, no,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I know you have a music background.
Yeah,
How did because I know you performed as a professional musician for many years.
yeah.
And how did comedy come into the picture for you?
Right, right. Well, comedy was like my first love. I was huge into like Andy Kaufman when I was younger. I really like alt humor, like just very uncomfortable, like Tim Robinson. I think you should leave. That is like the direct. I don't know if it's my inner stoner, but that is like the direct link to my funny bone. It's just that situational, like ridiculous, far out there humor. And I mean, I grew up watching Just for Laughs, like a bunch of Comedy Now specials. Like that was kind of like my I was raised on the TV for quite some time on the Comedy Network. But I started playing music pretty young, so it just kind of naturally made more sense. And like you didn't hear, I mean, now even still, it's not like the way that it is with like when you see like an 11-year-old just ripping blues guitar, like that just kind of happens now. But like, there's no 11-year-old that writes a stand-up set. You know what I
No.
mean? It's for good reason. Like you need a little bit of life experience or to be able to draw from that, yeah,
Hmm.
to in order to kind of be funny. So it made more sense to go into music, and I love music. I do. It's a lot of fun. I love to play the guitar. I liked teaching music when I was teaching it. Like it's, there's a lot about music that I really love, but it was the pandemic. I had gone into a really deep long type of depression, despite having like I had a good paying government job. I was doing what I wanted to. I was in I was in a solid relationship at the time. Like everything on paper, I was living the life that all of my adult friends were like, this is what you want: safety, security, a pension, 3 weeks vacation. And I was just fucking miserable,
But just that just
miserable.
shows the what's the word, insipidness of depression. It
Yeah,
just
yeah,
shows that depression doesn't give a fuck. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah. No, it
mean? Like,
does
yeah,
not care. Yeah,
it does
yeah.
not care.
Yeah. You wake up manic one day and then all of a sudden your brain's just like, well, let me check what's in the bank account
Yeah.
first. All right, actually, we're good. We're gonna go back to sleep. Like no, it does not care. And so I was just in a pretty deep depression. And even like it got to the point where I was kind of contemplating some like pretty dark and scary stuff. But before I made any rash decisions, I wanted to do something that I've always wanted to do, which was try stand up for the first time. So I listened to Che DeRena's album, Tales from My Butthole, which is available on Spotify and all streaming
That's
services.
such an awesome title. It's
It's
like
such a great,
great
yeah.
title.
It's so, and like Che came like on TikTok, he came to me at like a really like it was a pretty dark period, but his stuff was always making me laugh because it was just this like vulgar silliness. Like there was no, I'm trying to change your political opinion, or I'm trying to get to some weird point and tell a real heartfelt story with my comedy, which is fine if you're into that sort of thing. But it was just it came at such a crucial point where all I wanted to do was laugh and not have
Yeah.
my mind changed. And so I listened to the album and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go try this tonight. So I went to a music open mic in Smiths Falls, shout out Bowie's, and sat in the back corner for, I think the open mic started at 7:30. I didn't get on until 11:30. I was the
Wow.
last act, just drinking Diet Pepsi after Diet Pepsi, just ready to go, like vibrating like the Flash through the walls by the time I got up there. So much
Wow.
caffeine. And I did well. I mean, well enough to want to continue to do it, which I truthfully I think is, you hear all the time, like comics will give advice like, how do you do stand up? Oh, just do it, you're going to bomb your first time. I don't think that's true. I think most
No.
people, because the first show they pack the place with their friends, I
Yes.
think usually they have a good time. It's not until the
Yes.
second or third show where
Yeah, when it's a
they're like,
real show
oh
where it's not, it's a cold audience, like it's not an
yeah,
audience
yeah,
full of friends and family. When
yeah,
it's,
yeah,
yeah, because I had that like I think my first two
yeah,
were like woo, because I had friends and family, and I think it was my third time out was
yeah,
there was an open mic in Vanier, and I went there, and I didn't know the comics because I was brand new, and I didn't know, I had nobody in the audience, and it was like,
yeah,
oh man, this is real. This is
yeah,
real.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I did okay, but still, like that's what it hit me, that, oh yeah, you're not always gonna have like people who are rooting for you in the
yeah, yeah.
audience. You know that they're
Oh
going to be
yeah.
strangers. You're essentially trying to make strangers laugh.
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of
Vanier's where
thing.
you want to do it too. Like you want to like my first true bomb was in Oshawa, which is like the Vanier of Ontario. So like fucking like you want to do it in a place like that for sure. Like you want to get it, you want it as bad as possible. Like you want to like walk off stage feeling lower than low, and then have somebody pull a knife on you because you're like it couldn't
Because
get
you're like,
worse. It
yeah,
could not get yeah, it could
exactly.
not
This makes
like
sense.
yeah. Driving 4 hours back to Kingston with a hitchhiker in my car. Like that's exactly this is the experience I want after a true bomb. So yeah.
So like how has because you've like I've watched you grow, and you were good from the start. Like
Thank
you
you.
were good
Thank
from
you.
the start. Like
Yeah.
when I know when I found out that like, oh, this is like his fifth set, or he's only been doing it for like a couple of months, I was like, holy shit, like you're
Yeah.
really, really good from the
Oh, thank you.
start,
Thank you.
and I think I would think like not I didn't have a performance background. But I think like you're very easy and comfortable on the stage, and I'm sure that's from your years as a professional musician that you're pretty at ease on stage.
Yeah.
But I know playing music and doing
Yeah.
comedy
Yeah.
are two very different birds, but
Yeah.
you were good from the start. You're really good from the
Yeah.
start, and you
Thank
just
you.
kept
Thank
getting
you.
better and better and better and better, and you're yeah,
Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you so
which is
much.
pretty awesome.
That means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
because you've accomplished a lot in a year. Are you
Yeah.
going like
Yeah.
a year and a half, almost two, like
Yeah.
2 years, like in the spring or
Yeah. I
something?
guess yeah, I'm about a year and a half.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's July 29th is my 2 years.
is your 2 years? Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So
yeah. So you've done a lot in a
yeah,
short
I've always
amount of time.
oh, yeah. I always catch on pretty quick to like art jobs, which is like I mean of all I'm grateful for sure, but like of all the things to be like I can't sit down and look at the bookkeeping for longer than 5 minutes or like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's like oh man, this guy's got an ego. Yeah, it's the only thing I have. The only thing I catch on to is like short term, virtually no job security work. You know what I mean? It's like this guy, he's funny and everything, but he needs to be humbled. Oh, don't worry, that time comes. I get humbled every April when the government is like, you identify as someone that's self-employed. We're going to tax you at 25%. Trust
Mm.
me, it happens every year. Okay, let me have the ego for like a hot
Yeah,
minute. Okay,
exactly. Let me
yeah,
enjoy this.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Oh my
fucking
God.
yeah,
So you mentioned a few minutes ago that Che Durena was an influence, or an influence that got you interested in trying out comedy, and that you'd always been a fan
yeah.
of stand up. So do you have a favorite, and like how would you describe your style of comedy?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like my favorite comedian above all is probably Norm Macdonald. Like, especially the more that I discover about Norm Macdonald, because I guess he always, when he was writing, he always knew the punchline of the joke, but never knew how he was going to get there. Like he had a very, which is why sometimes his jokes would take like 25 minutes to tell. Um, and I think that that's so like that's something that you can only do. I am fully aware that getting paid to do comedy in like less than 2 years is something that most people don't do. And I'm very grateful that that is a situation that I've ended up in, whether
Yeah.
it's like, again, like just because art jobs are something that I'm pretty good at. And I have like a natural inclination to figure out the math and the ability to practice and hone a certain thing down to like the finite detail or whatever. That's totally cool. But there, there is a situation where when someone says, "Oh, it takes 10 to 15 years to get to this," Norm style is for sure
Yeah.
that's what they're talking about. Like in
Yeah.
terms of writing like a solid punchline or like a misdirect or figuring out how to do a callback, there's for sure math and pattern recognition there. And anybody that tells you that it's going to take a minimum 7 to 10 years in order to figure it out, it's fucking bullshitting you.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. It's the same as like learning your scales on the guitar. It's just eventually you figure out how to make it music, and
Yeah.
that's what
And
Norm did.
it's
That is
practice. and
Yeah,
practice, you
absolutely,
know.
absolutely, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Norm is probably my favorite. My style now is mostly musical comedy. I do have like a solid 10 to 12 minutes that, like, if I'm hosting, I have regular like stand up that I do, which is like, I mean, I still write that just because I can't shut that off.
Right.
And I'll try it out just because um, I don't want to be the person that has like the same 10 minutes for like the next 15 years of my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a matter of, for sure, like just honing the musical comedy aspect now, which I think is like, one, there's no market at all right now. Like in Ottawa, I think there's maybe, well, whoever is on the Stringing You Along show on
Yeah.
November 30th, that is it for
That's it.
musical comedy in
Exactly.
Ottawa. That is everybody that's doing it. Uh, and everybody's like, it's when you're told that it's like a hack thing, because as a comedian, anything that isn't straight up stand-up comedy, people will tell you is like hack.
Yeah, there are a lot
Which
of
is like,
people who are like, this is how it's supposed to be, and this is how it's no, no, you do it
yeah,
however
yeah,
you want.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
no, for sure.
purists, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And in any ways, I've been doing it for 12 years and I do stand up once a month. Like, yeah.
it,
Um,
exactly.
yeah,
Consider the
yeah,
source. Consider the
yeah,
source that tells you that kind of stuff. Yeah.
yeah. And then like, but talking to guys like talking to headliners like Bobby Knopf or Casey Corbin, and talking about like being a little trepidatious with venturing into musical comedy. Actually, it was Casey Corbin really like doing the Andre the Alien show, because I'm the musical director for Bobby's show, Bobby's like Andre the Alien show.
Yes.
And a conversation with Casey Corbin really lit a fire under my ass to venture into the musical comedy thing, because I was talking about how it kind of made me nervous. And Casey was just like, oh yeah, because Adam Sandler doesn't know what he's doing, huh? And I was like, oh, I never thought about it like that. Like, I think of
It's
musical
true.
comedy as like the shitty, like getting up there and just
Yeah.
being like tee hee kind of fun, outwardly funny. But then it's like, no, lunch. I was like raised on Weird Al, Lunch Ladyland, like fucking Tim Minchin. It's only now that we have like the Bo Burnham thing, and Bo Burnham's hilarious, but it's
Oh
like we
yeah.
have kind of like we have bad copies of Dave Chappelle too, of like,
Yes.
comedians that have no jokes or material and just sit there and run the light. Like, but
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so that kind of pushed me in that direction. And I've got 7 songs, which is about, everybody's going to cringe when I say the number, but it's about 28 minutes of like musical comedy. So, and I'm just going to write
Wow.
maybe a couple more tunes and then record it. So we'll see where that goes, see
That's
where that
very
takes me.
cool. Because I was going to
Yeah.
ask you if you were going to veer more towards musical comedy than like strict standard stand up. I was going to ask you if because the songs that I've heard, I think I've heard maybe 3 of
Right.
your
Yeah.
songs, and
Yeah.
so good, so
Thank
funny.
you. Thank
So
you. Thank you.
funny,
Thanks
because
so
it's this
much. Yeah.
beautiful melody and then whoa.
Yeah. 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 It's that.
So
That is for
yeah, it's pretty, it's
sure.
awesome, it's amazing. And so I was going to ask you if
Yeah.
you saw yourself going more in that direction. But
Yeah.
it's cool that you said that, like when you're hosting and stuff like that, say a regular show, if you're hosting a musical show, you would
Yeah.
host doing some musical numbers, I'm sure. But I think it's
Yeah.
cool that you can do both, that you have
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
your non-musical numbers, and then your sets, and then your musical ones. Because
Yeah.
I don't think people realize, because like you're writing a song, you're
Yeah.
writing music, like original music, original words, and funny. Like that's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
one of
Yeah.
those things on its own is challenging, but to
Yeah.
put, to have an original melody, an original tune,
Yeah.
funny, set to beautiful music. That's not that's not an easy thing to do.
No, no. And I try to take the two things like as seriously as one another. Like every time I write a song, I want it to be an earworm and hooky and catchy as much as I want it to be funny. And if
Hmm.
I find that it's veering too much in a different direction, I'll either rewrite it, change a punchline, or like I have a song called Disappointing Dick, which is about it's I feel like feel like everyone has been here in this situation.
Either
But
a
it's like,
recipient or an owner.
yeah, yes, yeah, yeah. And it's it's about um uh, taking a guy home that's like perfect in every way, except when it's time to boogie. You know, whether it's like a one night stand situation or you guys have been like dating on and off for like a couple of weeks and you're like, all right, now it's time. And then it's just like, oh no. You know what I mean? Like for
I've been
whatever
there. I
reason.
have been there. That's and it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
why?
Yeah, I know. It's like, yeah, yeah. It was my ode or my homage to that sort of like situation, right? The comedy from pain.
Yes,
But
exactly.
in this song, there's like an 8 bar, maybe less than that, maybe like a 4 bar guitar solo, and I'm like, okay, like this is ridiculous. Like I just couldn't stop myself. And like I liked the chord progression enough, and I was like, I wanted to like do something like a lead fill. But then immediately the first line when coming out of the guitar solo is, I know a guitar solo is not funny. You know what I mean? And it's like, I have to call that out there immediately or else I run the risk.
Exactly.
Then that's hacky. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
you
then
need
it becomes
exactly.
a
You need to
situation
address
where,
it. You need to
yeah, yeah,
address it. Oh my God.
yeah,
So it's just it just from your description of that, it's like writing um a regular set or regular bits because
yeah, yeah,
you're revising things, you're editing, you got to
yeah,
try it out. Yeah, there's
yeah, yeah,
a lot of the same almost the same exercise,
Y-
it's
yeah,
similar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Well, you want it to be. There are certain songs where I'm like, I resign myself to just wanting it to be a song, and I'm not concerned about it. Like, because I plan on doing like a regular comedy EP that's only about maybe 25, 30 minutes. That's just for the purpose of like helping me get a credit, because
Mhm.
I am not going to be on Just for Laughs anytime soon. I know that I am ethnically ambiguous enough to probably land a CBC gem role at some point, but I, uh, I'm not going to be on JFL anytime soon. So I wanted to have something that could maybe get like a song or two in rotation on Sirius, and then
Yeah.
see what I can do with that. But I also want to like really like with a band go in and record a full like 45-minute and then put that out. And with regards to that, it's like I have a couple of songs that are more like tee funny, or the concept is funnier than the execution, and I'm cool with that. I'm not like, if I tour with the band, I'm not going to be able to hear your laughter over the sound of fucking Numbnuts' drums anyways. So I'm cool if it's just like a bop for a little bit, you
Okay.
know. That's fine by me. Yeah.
That's cool. That's interesting. I like that. Um, how do you come up with material? Because I know we all have different ways of finding material and mining it to create bits and sets. Like, what's your procedure?
Um, if it's like regular stand up, so for the longest time, I was like, I would have well, I still have quite the drive to my day job. But I would just turn the voice notes on and then just rant to myself about whatever. And I was like, I'm self-aware enough that if I wasn't getting anything, I would shut it off. But there's certain instances where it's like I found something that's become a good 45-second bit or so or whatever. And with the songs, it's just like a funny concept that I'll think of wherever. I mean, like I'm writing a song now after I went to the gym, and my personal trainer was like giving me I was on the leg press, and he was spotting me for the leg press, and my legs went back, and he went, "Oh, bud, you can go deeper." And then I immediately thought of this concept of like, is my personal trainer trying to fuck me? And then I'm like, I need to write a song about my personal trainer trying to fuck me right now. like, you know? So
Oh my God, that's funny.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty much the same as like just finding the comedy in your daily life and then mining that, you know, whether it's like a shitty situation that you can make funny, or it's a funny situation that you're like, with a couple of tweaks, this could be really funny, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when you started comedy, had things opened up yet, or did you start online?
I started, things had opened up. It was like, it was pre, I think it was pre-vaccine first, because it was the summer. It was the summer of 2021. So it was
Okay.
pre-vaccine, but we're down to maybe 10 or 15 cases a day, a couple of days of like zero deaths, and people were
Okay.
just doing dances in the street, type of
Okay.
situation. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah, everybody
venues were
was,
at like minimum, like the capacity restrictions. There were still pretty heavy restrictions
yeah, yeah, it was still
that in
like
the
mask
summer.
up, and yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
12
So
people.
yeah, 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 it was
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, which, I mean, I started off like everybody else doing open mics. So like 12
Mm.
people is, we're hoping for 12 people. You know what I mean? Like Ralph's on a Wednesday. Oh baby, like 12 people. Like let's go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know
Was it
exactly
a
what you
big, like a big jolt or shock for you the first time that you performed in like a near capacity or a room without restrictions, that the show had a decent turnout?
mean. No, no. Excuse me. Um, no, it wasn't like a shock. My first big show was like maybe for like 120 people in Kingston Mansion, and
Mhm.
it was the perfect full capacity show because I'm from Kingston. So it
Mhm.
was like there was a lot of people that I knew, a lot of people that I knew only kind of, like nobody was like, oh, I hope you're funny because I know you as a musician, and
People
if you
said that to
bomb,
you?
I'm gonna tell you that you should have stuck to music. No, no, no. But it's like that's my inner
Oh, that's
monologue
you.
before going
Okay.
on
That was
stage.
your
Is like,
inner,
please
that
stop.
was your inner thing. I
Yeah,
was like, who said that to you? Like, that's awful. I mean,
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
horrible thing to say to
yeah,
yourself,
yeah,
let alone if somebody
yeah,
else
yeah,
said
yeah,
that to you.
yeah, yeah. That was my first like my first 6 months. That was the thing. I was
Mhm.
scared more so than bombing. I was just afraid of somebody coming up to me telling me that I should have stuck to music, because like that's
Ah,
why when you're pursuing your dream, you know what I mean. Let alone like I've pursued two dreams now at this
yeah.
point. To fairly competent. Like when you're pursuing a dream, especially when you're known for something else, it's definitely that's it's a pretty big fear. Now
Right.
don't care. I've had people tell it to me now, and I'm like, I don't care about your opinion.
Yeah.
So, but
Good.
in
Good.
the beginning, I was
Yeah.
so scared,
I
so
can
scared.
imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I know not too long ago, fairly like within the last couple of months, we were on a show and I had posted about it, and a
Yeah.
childhood friend of mine posted that she had seen you perform. And she was
Right.
like, "Oh my God, he's doing comedy too! Like he's such a good musician." I remember I wrote and I was like, "He's just as good a comedian, he's good at both, sort of
Oh,
thing."
that's awesome.
But
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
recognized you and was like, "Oh, like I think she had seen you play in Montreal or something like that." But she had, yeah, she called it
Right.
out,
Right.
and she was like, "Oh my God, I know that guy," sort of thing. So that's,
Yeah.
but yeah, like forgot ish, like forgot is too strong a word, but it slipped my mind that you're from Kingston, and that um you did a lot of shows with Kingston with our friend and our favorite person Al Babcock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did a
Yeah.
lot of work with
Al is
yeah, Al is great. Al is
He
great.
is great. He is great.
Yeah.
He is someone that helped me so much, and I'll always like rally to his like his
Yeah.
aid whenever he needs me, whether it's like
Yeah.
for mental health stuff, or
Yes.
he's like, hey, I need a really solid opener. The budget's tight. Can you come
Hmm.
down, and like I can only give you $25 for gas? I'm like, 100%, a
Yeah.
hundred
Yeah.
percent. So
Yeah,
yeah,
same.
he
I
is.
haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah,
But I know like we've talked and stuff like that, and we're looking forward to performing together again,
yeah, yeah,
hopefully
yeah,
soon, but
yeah,
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 he's also been a great like mentor and a lot of very helpful to me as well, and it's always good
yeah.
to have people like that in your corner.
Yeah.
People you could
Yeah.
ask questions and bounce ideas off and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. He is, and he's a like, because he's done so much, so many people, and like worked outside of the spectrum of like what is the tried and true method of making it in comedy. Like
Yes.
he has done so many independent shows, so many indie rooms. Like he's really seen from the ground up. Like I mean, he's done stand up in some of the strangest places, like on top of milk cartons or milk crates, just like to hundreds of people at like an army base, but just like whatever, we've got a sound system and we're just gonna make
Yeah.
a makeshift
Yeah,
stage.
make
But
it work. Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
he's great. He's great.
Yeah, he is great. He's got a wealth of knowledge, and like you said, his career is like from the ground up, and he did it his own way, sort
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah,
He did it his own
yeah,
way, which is really inspiring and
yeah.
cool,
And gives great advice too. Because
Yes.
oftentimes when you ask for advice from a comedian, and it's the same thing with, I'm sure, any art job. I when I had guitar students that were intermediate players that were trying to take it to the next level, I would teach them how to play like me. That was just,
Yeah, that's
that
what
was
That's your reference. Exactly.
exactly.
That's your
So a lot of
reference
times
point.
when you ask advice from comedians, they'll show you, if it's a one-liner comic, they'll teach you a little bit more about what it's like to write a proper misdirect or a non sequitur. And if you're talking to a storyteller, then the I mean, there's certain comedians that have been like, oh, you got to connect with your audience more, really like, and I'm like, I'm down to connect with my audience, but it's like I'm not out here trying to be like my trauma as like I don't I'm
I'm
not
here to share
that's
my trauma.
yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'll put all my energy into a 6-minute song about getting pegged. I will not talk about my childhood. That's just where the line is.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
Al gave me so much so much advice on just like the rudiments of like just before even going on stage. He's like, take the mic stand, move it to the side, like all that stuff. He
Yeah.
burned into my brain before I even got on stage for the
Yeah.
first time, and he's like,
Yeah,
that
those
is
were
the
the
what's going to
first
set
things
you
I
apart.
learned too.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
the
It's like that's
logistics of situating yourself on the stage,
yeah, yeah,
that I
yeah,
never really thought about, but it's like, yeah, it makes sense.
yeah,
Because I remember seeing somebody get up. They were fairly new at the time, get up and took the microphone out of the stand, but left the stand there. And I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, move the stand,
I
move
know,
the
I
stand.
know. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like I was so like, they didn't move the stand. Like, you got to move the stand, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
like, silly on my part. But yeah, it's little things like that that other people, I'm sure, didn't even notice. Maybe other comics noticed, but yeah, it's those fundamental
yeah.
things. And then also putting it back. Because I've seen
Yes,
they move it, but then they don't put it back. It's like, you gotta put it back.
yeah, yeah. That lets the host know you're about to finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Like that movement of like either turning towards it or stepping back or resting on it or something. Yeah, that's a signal that, okay, I'm
yeah,
wrapping it up. And the host could be like, okay, I'm going to get ready to go back up, sort of thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're little cues
And it's
that,
better to be,
no, go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, no. So I was just gonna say, it's better to be delicately told that by Al than to be screamed at by Jason. So it's much better. I'm very happy that I was not doing abs open mic or something as my first comedy experience. It was nice to have Al kind of like, hey buddy, Yeah. So
Oh my God. Has there been anything like in the time that you've been doing comedy and like the people you've met and things like that, have there been things that you were like, oh, I had no idea that this is what it's like, or were things what you expected?
um that's a really good question. I have not thought about it hard enough. I would say for the most part, just off the top of my head, I do feel like things are what I expected.
Okay.
A couple of things like, oh, I thought maybe with like individual jokes, like I thought this was a winner, and then the audience reminding me that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's been something. But in terms of the business side of it and uh yeah, like the industry aspect of, because I've been in the industry. Very little surprised me about the industry.
Okay.
I've been in it for like 14 years now, so it's like even at the small, like so small, like Z list state that I am in the entertainment business, specifically in Canada, which is like the Z list of entertainment industries. um, it's there's very little that surprises me now,
Okay.
with regards to that. Maybe like how difficult it is to make a salt, like as a musician playing bars, and you don't, like, I have a background in jazz. Like I'm quite, like, I know what I'm good at, and I know that I'm really good at singing and very good at playing the guitar. And you need to have like a tenth of the ability that I have as a technically as a musician in order to make like $300 to $400 a night in bars. And in
Okay.
order to make that equivalent as a comedian, you need to have written for like 17 shows, have 65 festival credits,
Exactly.
and and
Be
be
Dave
a
Chappelle.
25-year veteran
Yeah.
in comedy. Yeah, you need to, yeah, you need to, yeah, that's it's. So that was a little bit like wow, like really, you know what I mean? Like that's like really, like talking to some of my friends who I think are, and I like obviously won't name any names because I'll drop like prices here, but like talking to some of my friends who I think are probably some of like the funniest people, like people that I think are funnier than famous LA comedians and shit. And to be like, yeah, I did a fucking gig the other day, or I worked a weekend for $250 a show. And I'm like, I wouldn't leave my house to go play wagon wheel up the street for $250. Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
It's like a different pay scale
yeah,
altogether. It's
yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, what we do is the be paid for this at all is a blessing. But
Mhm.
if we're gonna cross that bridge and be paid for it, let's figure it out. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
if we can't just have a little bit of it. All right. If you're gonna
No.
give us the cake, like
Yeah.
fucking
Give me
all
the whole
right,
damn
like
cake.
yeah,
It's
give me the
true.
damn cake.
Give me the damn
Like
cake. It's true.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
true.
yeah. I don't want icing. All right. Like I'm here for the whole thing.
Yeah,
All
I'm here
right.
for cake.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, what has been your best experience and your worst experience in stand up so far? If you've had it.
Oh,
Because maybe
yeah.
you haven't had a horrible, if it applies to you.
Um, yeah. No, for sure. Best experience doing stand up. Um, probably, probably the first time I did, uh, maybe not the pegging song, like maybe not the first time I did musical comedy, but maybe the first time I did like a set of musical comedy. Like the show we did with Ashwin,
Oh
being able
yes.
to do like a 12-minute set that's just me and my guitar, and
Yeah.
being like, okay, and then fully resign yourself to like, okay, I've got something. This wasn't a club setting. This was an indie room in like God bless avant-garde bar, but like the
Yes.
worst possible place to do comedy.
Yeah.
Like
On
it
a
was
like a
it was a
Tuesday or a
situation where, like,
Wednesday night.
yeah,
Yeah.
on a fucking Wednesday, like, um it was very, that was super cool, and that was very much like an eye opening. And then like the strip jokers, like anytime I do a ruckus show now, it's like I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is what this maybe not what it's all about, but this should be what it's more about sometimes than the other thing. Just hanging out, having fun.
Yeah.
80 people in a room that are just like here to see some fucked up stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty fantastic. Worst experience would probably be the Mike McDonald Summer Comedy Competition. I think that's,
Really.
yeah, I've bombed before, and I didn't bomb I did well, truthfully, every time that I got on stage, but I put so much emphasis and fucked myself up mentally with that competition for absolutely nothing. And not
Mhm.
just because of the outcome of the thing, because I don't think if I had placed first, I think it almost would have been worse for me. But
Okay.
I had so many friends be in that competition and met so many new people that I couldn't appreciate because I was so it needs to be this set 7 minutes. You can't go over. You got to make sure that you leave everything on the stage, like leave, you know what I mean? And it really like changed me fundamentally almost as a comedian, because I just went up there like looking at people that I love and care about as peers in this community, and being like, I'm gonna break your fucking knees with a crowbar if you do better than me. You know what I mean? And genuinely meaning that, trying to play it off as a joke in the green room, but genuinely meaning that. And it made me look at myself as an entertainer with like, why am I looking at this with such a competitive nature? Because I'm okay with a little bit of competition. Every comedian wants to be the funniest one on the bill, even if you're the host sometimes.
Yes, yes.
But I was looking at this, like looking at people that I really love and care about in this community, and just like wishing fucking like with every joke that didn't land, just being like, yes, fuck yeah.
Oh.
And it made me really grossed out about myself after
Wow.
the show. So
Yeah,
I
he's
had
like
to,
competitions put a lot of pressure
yeah,
on people, and yeah, it brings out the not so desirable
yeah. It
aspects
was,
of our personalities. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I took a long hard look, and I took a little bit of time off, and a long hard look in like what I want as a comic, and as a person too. I mean, like going back to the drawing board about like what I can't, I cannot like put all of my happiness into how I do on stage. You know, I cannot bomb and then drive home like wanting to fucking take the car off
Yeah.
the road. You know, like it's
It's
not healthy.
hard though, because when you bomb, like, because when we're up there, that's our stuff. That's stuff we wrote. Like, it's very personal. So if people don't laugh, or people don't appreciate it the way we feel, that shit hurts. It
Yeah,
hurts, and
absolutely. Yeah,
you take it personally, because it's, every comedian's bit, joke, set, whatever, is a piece of them that they're sharing
yeah,
with you.
absolutely.
And so if it doesn't land, or it doesn't work in whatever capacity, you take that to heart. You take
Oh
that, and
yeah,
sometimes it's hard to shake off. Sometimes it's hard to
yeah,
shake off, you know.
yeah. No, it's not. It's for sure not fun. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
definitely. But being able to like, I mean, I'm a little bit blessed with this situation, just because of the musical comedy thing. It's like whether people laugh or not, at the end of the song, I'm going to get an applause break. So
Yes.
like,
Yes.
because that's just how we're wired. And then with like, I'm removed enough from like my material again, because it's not personal like stories about my childhood or upbringing or anything like that. That it's like, if the Nigerian prince joke doesn't land, then the worst thing that happens is I know that this is going to be a tougher gig. That's the easiest laugh, that joke. You know what I mean? So it's yeah. From there, I'm like, all right, fucking got to put the boots on. Like I'm gonna have to do some crowd work. That's all that means now. Is if the joke bombs, it's like fuck. Now I got to talk to you guys. Shit, you know. Like,
Exactly. Is I'm not a big
what
crowd
do you
work
do for a
person.
living? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. What's your name? Who are you here with? Are you
yeah,
married? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, 'cause I'm not a crowd work person either. Like, I'm trying to be a little more loose on stage,
yeah,
because I tend to just be ding 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 ding. Don't
yeah,
interrupt me.
yeah, yeah,
Well, they
yeah,
shouldn't be interrupting you anyway.
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
whole other thing. But yeah, I'm trying to be a little more loose, and like talk a little bit more with the audience. But
yeah,
that's not my thing. So it's like, it's not
yeah.
something it's something I want to work on, but it's not
Right.
that's not my thing. Like, I know people who love crowd work. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I
yeah.
can
I like.
appreciate people who can do it well, who do it and enjoy
Yeah,
it and can do it well, but
yeah. Yeah, no, I can do it. It's not really something that I like doing either, because it's like I have like a maybe it's probably an Ottawa thing, because if you ask someone what they do, 9 times out of 10, they're either going to say they're retired or
our
that they
government.
work for the government. So I have a little bit of, I wouldn't say apathy. Apathy's pretty strong, but like this sort of like what do you do for a living? And then I'm already in my mind like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't fucking. They pay me $50, and I'm contractually obligated to ask
To
if
ask
anyone
you
here is
that,
from
yeah.
out of town.
Any
You know what I mean?
birthdays? Anyone from out of
Yeah,
town? I
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I
Oh God. Yeah,
know. And I'm like,
yeah,
power to the people who love
yeah,
to host, because
yeah,
they're good at it. They love it and they thrive on it. Like I can do
yeah,
it and I will do it if asked and stuff like that.
yeah,
But I know I've always said if someone offers me a hosting spot and just a regular spot, I will always go for the regular spot.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'd
Yeah,
rather do the spot. Yeah. That's
yeah,
just my
yeah. And
comfort.
even as like even doing crowd work, the best crowd work has ever gone for me is when the host has already crowd worked the audience, and I have time to be like, I'm definitely gonna ask that person about what the fuck they do, because that's
Yeah.
yeah, like there were chemists in the audience one time at Laugh Lounge, and Nick Burton had asked who farts in front of their significant other. And this actually was another situation where it was the first time I had done like musical comedy as a full set. But anyways, the two chemists were like shook their heads so violently, and I got on stage and I was like, that scared the shit out of me, because what is in methane that you guys are so scared to,
That you won't even
to
do
fart in front of each other? Yeah, that you like, no, that's a hard pass. Like, yeah, you'll die. Like your skin will melt. Like
Exactly.
what's happening? Yeah,
That's too funny. That's too
yeah,
funny. Because I think the best or the most fun, because the thing is like I don't really have fun when I'm hosting, just because I
right,
feel like
right.
I'm on all the time. I got to be on all the time. You're paying attention because
Yeah,
you're watching the person on stage for like the cues that they're wrapping up, and then you got to get back. Like it's a lot for me.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I
of course.
hosted maybe 2 weeks ago, and I
Yeah,
was like, I'm going to try something different. So I was kind of loose
yeah,
and I
yeah,
talked to people more, and I was like, it was fun. But what
yeah.
I was a little more stressed because I was like, what jokes did I tell them? Because I went through
Right.
like this, I didn't go through my usual think, 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 think. Like I just, say a joke I would do later on, I did it first, or, I had a, talking to somebody and then I was like, oh, I have a bit about that. I'll bring that in. That when
Yeah.
I went to sit down after bringing up an act, I'm like, did I tell them this bit already? Because I was like, the last thing you want to do is get up there and repeat a joke.
Yeah, yeah,
Say
yeah,
something
yeah,
that you said already. So
yeah,
even though it was like that was the loosest I'd ever been hosting, and I think it was maybe one of like my best hosting.
yeah,
It was also the most stressful because I was like, I don't know what I said. I don't know what bits I did. I got a lot of like TikToks out of it just because I was
yeah.
interacting with the crowd a lot.
Right.
But yeah, I find it very, very stressful.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, yeah.
It's
It,
like
yeah,
you
I
earn
can
that
see that.
$50, you know what
Oh,
I
for sure,
mean?
for sure. Yeah,
You're earning
yeah.
it for sure. Is anything off limits in your act? Like, is there anything that you're
Um,
like, I absolutely will not talk about, joke about, bring to the stage at all? Is there anything
I
like that for you?
no, not really. I don't think so. I try not to be. Well, I shouldn't even say that I try not to be. I'm generally not like offensive. I mean, like the material is offensive because I cuss and I talk a lot about sex. So it's like, yeah, I'm not like, if I brought the Logan Brown experience to Sundays at church at around 11 o'clock, I definitely would offend some people. Um, but in terms of like, do I tackle any hot and heavy, like even when I'm getting across like my background racially, and trying to explain like the whole like the black man white privilege joke and everything like that,
Yeah.
it's like even when I'm in a situation where like it's a white town like Pembroke or North Gore, I do it tastefully enough and in a way that it's like I'm not poking fun at you. I'm just, here was my experience, and know that I still love you ignorant redneck fucks, and I know that it comes from a place of love. You know what I mean? Like that's the situation. But yeah, I'm not interested in making any like trans jokes, or I don't want to go there. It's not for me. I want to, I do want to connect with people. I want like the jokes to land, and I don't want to just be another guy that's doing comedy. And like I have delusions of grandeur for sure at some point in my career, but not at the cost of like making people, making my comedy irreverent and dangerous and poking at the, I'll get there some other way. If it means that I have to ham up the entertainer aspect of my thing and bring a guitar in there and risk being called and smack myself in the face with my guitar strap, if and you know, risk being called a hack by like some open mic comics, then I would much rather do that than fucking deal with like check my Twitter every day and be stressed that somebody canceled
Yeah.
me because they saw a joke.
Yeah.
You know, my brain doesn't go to that place anyways. Like I very rarely, and if I write something that's offensive, I'll immediately send it to a comic that I know.
Yeah.
Be like,
Same.
hey, you can have this. Like just so you know, like I thought of a really funny Roe v. Wade joke. That's all yours if you want it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Are there like what qualities do other comedians have that you admire? So whether like well-known international comedians or local people that you know.
Oh, um, I really like. Well, crowd work is a big thing. I really do wish that I had more crowd work, and also like the crowd work ability of someone like Nick Burden or Tavis. Tavis more so than Nick, just because like Nick has that charisma, whereas like I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's necessarily Tavis himself or just because he has that sort of like monotone, almost deadpan like delivery. But Tavis harnesses the apathy that I have, but is able to do crowd work and seem really invested with people when he's talking to them. And maybe it's because he has a background in like archaeology and shit. He's just able to, he's just able to kind of have this wealth, this vast wealth of knowledge, and also look dead in the eyes when he's talking to people. Um, but either that or someone like Emmett or like John Steinberg, any like one-liner comic, their ability to remember all those fucking jokes for 45 minutes to an hour.
I
It's
always,
like,
I always, I always say that because I know like if I'm doing 20 minutes, I might
yeah,
have to know maybe 10, 12
yeah,
bits, depending on how long they are. 20 minutes of
yeah,
one-liners,
yeah.
one-liners that are like 10, maybe 15 seconds, if that, that's a fuck ton to
Oh,
remember.
it's so,
That's
so
all,
much,
yeah. So it's like
so much.
I admire that. Like that is not easy,
I
because
did yeah, yeah. I had done I did a weekend at Yucks where Brian O'Gorman was headlining, Brian Hatt was the host, and I had dropped in. Like I ended up just getting on the show, and Albert Coombs, who is like he's not, I wouldn't say one liner, but like very joke kind of like format. And Albert Coombs was middling, and he was doing his 20 or 25. And I remember asking him like, how do you remember 25 minutes worth of like jokes like that? And he very like he's so fucking funny all the time, and he just looked at me and he was like, I don't. I tell my 15 slower. It was so funny. Like, yeah, you just tell your 15 slower. So good.
that's really funny.
It's great advice
That
too.
is
It's like, yeah,
true.
just slow
It's
down up there.
true.
Take your
And
time.
and that's
Yeah.
something that like I've only started to get comfortable with is like the pause, like pausing
Yeah.
in between sets. And because I had
Yeah.
a tendency to just, because I'm like, oh, I've only got like X amount of time, I want to get as many jokes in as possible, that you
Right.
rush.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
when you're rushing, you're not, you're like rushing the audience laughter, like they're laughing and you start talking where they're still
Yeah.
laughing, and like I had to really,
Yeah.
I have to make a conscious effort to do that, and it's uncomfortable, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's I'm getting used to doing it. It's getting better where it's like I can just, and part of it is, okay, what's my next bit? What's coming up next?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. Yeah.
depending on what the crowd is like and what's been happening during the evening, you might make a like a split second adjustment or something to a bit,
Yeah.
or you might be like, okay, this crowd, I'm not gonna do that bit. I'm gonna do this one instead, or something like that.
Yeah.
So those
Yeah.
pauses, I think I'm learning to embrace them, because I'm like, oh yeah, it gives me a chance to, you know, settle myself,
Yeah.
and like in like a split second, just like scan the room again and be like, okay, let's continue, sort of thing. But it's
Yeah.
not easy. It's
No,
not
no.
easy.
No, no, it's especially when you most of your shows revolve around having a 3.5 minute song. So your 6 minute set is now fucking 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
yeah, I have a hard time now with anything less than like 12 because I want to do at least one song. And I know I also want to like, especially if I'm hosting or if I want to do like regular stand up in the set, I want the crowd to get to know me
Yes.
first, so that's a situation of establishing that. And then, which is because of the way that I write bits, which is like, to me, just a cluster of jokes, of like jokes about the one subject. I can drop a couple, you know what I mean? It's like I can take
Hmm.
the Barcelona joke and get rid of it. I can take,
Yes.
and just move into something else, go into the redneck small town stuff a little bit quicker, or get rid of it altogether. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's a little
Yeah.
bit easier that way. But yeah, no, in a perfect world, it's like I sit well in like the 12 to 18 minute range, and I'm very happy with like,
Yeah.
if I can do that, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a great time. I get to do just enough stand up so people know that I take this seriously, as if I
Hmm.
should care about that at all. And then I get to do at least 3 songs, so that's great.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because I'm finding it difficult now to, like, if I have to do 6 minutes, so it's like,
Hmm.
okay, how do I do that? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I find whittling it down to six is
yeah,
is a challenge now,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm getting more and more comfortable. I remember like the first few times that I was asked to do, say, 12 to 15,
yeah,
that I would make it just past 12,
yeah,
thinking like, just past 12 or just under 15. It's like, I got to make it to 15.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then like the first 20, I remember
yeah,
the first time I was asked to do 20, I was like, I can't do 20. And they're like, okay, 18. And I
yeah,
was like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
okay, I can't
yeah,
do 20. I might be able to do 18. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, like it's I mean, it's a sign of like you're progressing and you're getting better
yeah,
when you can easily put together, you need 10 minutes, you need 12 minutes, you need 20 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever. When you
yeah,
can
yeah,
do that consistently and not be like, I hope I hit 20 minutes, sort of thing,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. And I've not abandoned, but like there's so much stuff now because of the music that I don't do anymore. And it's like, okay, I know I have it in the tank if I'm asked to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or like worst case scenario, I'll spend, if I know that if it's a big show at the end of the month, I will go to a whole bunch of mics and try and add a minute to each bit. Like it's like, okay, well, I grew up for 20 years in Odessa. Like I
Hmm.
definitely there's a solid 45 seconds worth of like animal fucking that I could definitely write about. Like it's like there's more humor there for sure. So yeah, like, yeah,
the question I this question that I have, I've asked it of, when I say older comics, I don't mean age wise, I mean comics who've been doing it like many like 10 plus years, like longer than we've been doing it.
Yeah.
But I feel that like everyone's answer, whether regardless of how long you've been doing, if you've been doing it for like at least a year, like you would have some insight
Yeah.
on this. Like
Right.
what advice do you wish you had? What advice do you what thing do you know now that either you learned or somebody taught you that you wish you
Yeah.
had known day one?
Ooh. Um, you know what? I going back to the competition and everything like that, and how to react to a bomb. Not just in the moment of being able to bomb a joke and then not get sweaty immediately after, but just let it roll off your back. Like just take everything with a grain of salt. Like, you know, every bomb is a learning experience, everything that. And even to an extent, this is kind of controversial, especially being less than 2 years into stand up. But like sometimes it's very rarely. Sometimes the audience is just plain wrong. Sometimes it's just a shitty show. If you're the only one that bombs on a show, then I would pivot and look at your material and see where you lost them and everything like that. But if every single comedian is going
Yes.
up and just eating it, then it's like,
Yes. There's something
you know
wrong.
what?
Exactly.
These people paid $15 to cross their arms, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Thank God we're getting paid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
that is a
Yeah, because
that is a
I'm
situation,
usually
you know, for sure.
hesitant to blame the audience because
Yeah,
it's not very often that it's the audience's
yeah,
fault. But yeah, like you said, if everyone is playing to crickets and
yeah,
everyone's eating shit on stage,
yeah,
yeah, there's something going on. There's something going
yeah,
on because I've done a bunch of shows like that. I'm sure you've done shows like that where it's like, and sometimes you even feel it in the air. You're like, there's something weird. There's a weird vibe in here. I don't know what it
yeah,
is. And yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah. No,
find
for sure.
like those don't happen often, but when they do, they're very, very strange.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a
There's
weird,
there
like,
there is nothing more disheartening though than watching everyone bomb until the last act. Because you're like, oh, it's just the audience. They are the ones that are wrong. And then the 20-year veteran comedian goes on stage and
and we're like,
murders for their feature set. And
okay.
you're like, no, it's us. We fucking suck.
Yeah, it's us.
You know, like you're like, bomb,
Exactly.
bitch, just bomb one joke. Fuck, you know?
But the thing
Yeah,
is, it's like I find that fascinating because I've seen like a veteran get up there and like just
yeah,
turn it all around. And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, how did teach me? How did you do
yeah,
that?
yeah. No,
You
it's
know,
it's
that yeah,
yeah,
like it's the same audience that like we went up and performed in front of.
yeah,
And it's just something, whether it I don't know what it is because it's not just the
yeah,
material. It's not just the material. There's something about their presence and
yeah,
how they brought themselves to the stage that turns it around. And
yeah,
I like watching like seasoned vets because you learn
yeah,
so
yeah,
much. Even if
yeah,
they're
yeah,
not teaching you directly, just by watching them,
yeah, yeah,
like, so I try to go to as many shows as I can to as a spectator.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
get to do that very often, but I try to go as much as I can just to watch, just to see like what do they do? What are they doing like during the show?
yeah, yeah,
Like I'll
yeah,
be like
yeah,
watching them to see like
yeah,
are they watching the show? Are they writing? Are they doing other stuff? Like what are they
yeah,
doing? Just
yeah,
like
yeah,
their like whatever ritual they have before they get to the stage. And then yeah, I'm just examining like their
yeah,
mannerisms and things like that. And I think I find it fascinating, first of all. And it doesn't matter
yeah,
whether you have the same style as they do or if you're vastly different than they are. It's just there's something you can glean something from everyone.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think I have a theory that I think it's the ability to address the elephant in the room when it's a shitty crowd.
Mm.
Like I think because I two instances where it wasn't a shitty crowd in this one bar, But there was a comic who went up. It was me hosting, and then two like 30-minute sets from like from legit headliners. And the one comedian that was going up was gay. Well, is gay. was still alive. Is gay, and did great. But there was a period where like would lose like a pocket, like would lose a table, or like would lose a certain, and then Trevor Thompson was like the final the closing headliner, went up and immediately was like, got a little bit too gay for Renfrew, didn't it? And then immediately just like just broke the tension completely,
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the other situation was at that fucking bar in Brennan's Hill, Quebec. Just a hell show. Too many comics. Like it was a situation where like forgot like thought that only like 4 comics were booked, 8 showed up being told that they were booked on the show.
Oh my
um
God. Oh my God.
like, and we just bomb after bomb after bomb. It was that situation where you're like, well, at least we're all going, if the ship's sinking, we're all going down
We're all
together.
going down.
And then yeah, and then Miller Crosby gets up and immediately is like, you guys are kind of a shitty crowd, huh? This motherfucker's had his back turned to the audience the whole time. Broke the tension immediately broke the tension. Crowd starts doing crowd work, like this fucking guy's old as shit, like like and you're like, oh, like everyone's feeling the same thing, like they can't talk about how shitty the crowd is right
Yeah.
now. But that's the gift we have as comedians, is you can, like Tavis says it all the time,
Yeah.
I get paid to call you an asshole and you love it.
Yeah.
Love it. It's like
It's true.
your wife is like, he is an asshole.
Yeah,
And the
he
guy's like,
is. And the
I'm an
guy's like, woo,
asshole.
I am.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Oh my God. But it's I just find it's fascinating. It's so
Yeah.
fascinating. Yes, but I have a question here. Do you
Yeah.
censor yourself?
uh you Yeah, do I censor myself? Yes. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, because the way that I talk with like my boys and shit is not the same way that I talk to, or is not the same way that I talk on stage, I guess. With regards to that, definitely like I'll think of a joke. I weigh the pros and cons of doing a joke, especially before you've tried it. If I've tried an offensive joke and it works, like if I was that style of comedian, I probably would be more inclined to do that stuff. But I don't. I I really don't like making people uncomfortable. Like I don't, anyone of any
Yeah.
political, like I don't go up
Yeah.
there and do any I hate white people material, because I don't
Because I don't. Yeah.
want
Same.
I don't want somebody, regardless of their political ideology, like, yeah, because I don't, my dad's white, I'm half
Hmm.
white, like like I don't hate white people.
Right.
I'm very grateful for my palate and its ability to love the pumpkin spice latte, and my love of the band Creed. That's my favorite part about me. Creed is a great band. For the first things first, like, Nickelback, well, great. Um, but yeah, no, I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable, regardless of like race, ethnicity, political ideology, affiliation. I have my own political opinions.
Yes.
They
Yes.
probably are on like the woker side of whatever that leaning spectrum of shit is. But I can talk and get along with everybody, whether they were
Yeah.
like the deepest trenches of the convoy, like Trudeau's a lizard type of person, or like fucking rainbow hair and ready to fucking, like, you've killed my grandfather, with like, because you're not wearing a mask. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I just want to make you laugh.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah. Because
I think
I'm
that's why
not.
I go for the sex material.
Hmm.
Everybody has sex. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not everybody. There's, I don't want to offend anybody. Complete disregard for the asexual community with that comment. Fucking, I'll take the cancellation. I will. I'll take it. I'll apologize tomorrow.
Because I know,
But
like, I don't like in my stuff, I don't do a lot of political stuff. I
yeah,
do some racial stuff, but it's like my
yeah,
own experience,
yeah,
like with
exactly.
racism. And I always feel like my intention is not to harm.
Yes.
like
Yeah.
with whatever I say on stage. But if somebody's offended by like my experience, that's not my
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
For
that's
sure.
not
For
my
sure.
problem, because I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm not, I'm just saying this is what happened to me and this was my experience. And if someone's like,
Yeah.
ugh, that's on them, not
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
Like the other
Yeah.
the other
Exactly.
night, I do a bit about my ex-husband contacting me after 22 years, which is
Yeah.
100% true.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
And the other day this man got
Yeah.
so incensed about it.
Yeah.
He's like, that's absurd. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and so I'm talking and I'm like, yeah, it is. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
ridiculous. And I was like, I wasn't sure if did he not believe me? Or was he just outraged that that happened? Like, I couldn't
So
tell.
mad for
He
you.
was
Like,
so mad, so
yeah,
mad.
like, sir, you're a terrible audience member, but I'm for sure gonna add you on Facebook after because we need to get coffee. Like, fucking just so like, how could he? Like,
Because
who
I
is
was
this mother
like,
like cracking his
yeah,
knuckles?
because
Who
he
is
was
this
like, that's
motherfucker?
absurd. That's ridiculous. That's
Yeah,
insane. And it's because I know at first, and as I turned and I was looking at him, and I was
yeah,
like, because he was sitting there like, that's absurd. And it's 100% true. I said,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
100% true. That's ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah, it is. Oh,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
believe that. That's insane. That's insane.
yeah,
And I'm like, I
yeah,
agree with you. I'm agreeing with you. It happened to me. I know.
yeah,
And then I
yeah,
just
yeah,
continued, but
yeah,
outraged,
yeah,
outraged,
yeah. It
It's
was your
like,
ex the whole time. He's like, he
yeah.
was 21 at best. He was 21.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so he was just like incensed that this,
yeah,
and I'm still not sure if it's like, does he think I was lying? Does he think I made it up? Or does
yeah,
he just
yeah,
truly like the nerve of that guy to contact you after all that time? Which
yeah, yeah,
which is my take. Like,
yeah,
why? Like, what did you have to do? Like, you know what I
yeah, yeah,
mean? But
yeah,
I'd never had a reaction like that. Most of the time it's just
yeah,
like
yeah.
people are
Also,
like, "Ooh, that's odd," sort of thing.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Also,
people,
like, who cares if you made it up or not? Like, that's the whole, like, not the whole point, but like, I hate that shit. It's funny because it's true. No, it's funny because there's a formula. All right,
it's
set
funny.
up, misdirect,
Exactly. It's funny because it's
punchline.
funny.
Like, fucking, yeah.
Like in
I
this
hate to
case,
tell you
this
this, but
happens to be
Mitch Hedberg,
true. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
you
Mitch
know.
Hedberg never lied awake in his twin bed wondering where his brother was. Like, that never actually happened. I've never been pegged. I hate to fucking right. I know the song is a lie. It's 3 minutes of lying to you, but like,
I don't
never happened.
believe you.
Like, I am a baby soft man. I'm not saying it's out of the question, but I just right now, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
this has been amazing. Would
Yes,
you?
yeah,
This has been a lot of fun, and I
yeah.
again, I thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Would you like to answer a few of my silly random questions?
Oh, for sure, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So if you could pick a number between 1 and 250, and I'll read you the corresponding question.
Okay, 1 and 250. That's a
Yeah.
big spectrum.
It's a
Okay,
big spec. I spent like a week gathering questions.
okay, cool.
So what number?
Oh, pick a number between 1 and 250.
Yes.
Ooh, uh, mm, 75.
75.
Yeah.
Okay. So 75 is, if you could compare yourself with any animal, which would it be and why?
Oh, those like small monkeys that you always see in YouTube videos getting like their hair cut or having baths? That one for sure.
The one that wear coats, like that IKEA monkey from a few years ago, like the ones like that?
Like the really
Marcel?
tiny, yeah, yes, yeah, 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 like the turning
The
the thing and it
the
starts
organ
dancing with,
grinder with the little,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
those
that one
monkeys
of those
freak me out.
monkeys for sure. I'm definitely one of
Why?
those.
Why?
I identify with those monkeys because I'm not. It's definitely an ape for sure of some, or like a simian of some kind. I'm not like I'm not cat-like enough. Like I don't have the no, you're home. I don't have that sort of thing. I'm definitely not like a golden retriever dog guy. Um, there's no farm animal that I would identify with, and there's no like king of the jungle type animal. But I can monkey for sure. I can narrow it down to some monkey, and I would never eat anyone's face. So if you take away chimpanzee, you are just left with these small rat-like monkeys. And I feel like like these people, these monkeys are like reluctant companions. Like they were not in the jungle being like, I really hope one day
I
a
meet a
human
person.
takes me to a barber shop and like fucking cuts my hair and shit and starts feeding me bananas. But once I'm there, once I'm in a relationship or once I'm like part of a group or a crew, like I'm like, all right, you know what? It's the bananas are cool. Like so, yeah,
Interesting answer.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
You
Okay.
want to know
Another
something? That's
what?
like the third time I've been asked that question and given that answer this week.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah.
That's so
Well, it's Sunday, so I guess, but yeah, that is,
that is, oh my God, because that's just like a fucked up question. And
yeah, yeah, no.
and for this to be like your third time answering it.
Oh no, that answer was in the chamber and very like I like that was a
That was
direct,
a prepared answer,
yeah,
that's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. That was not crowd work. That was
No,
material.
that
That
was
that that was yeah, yeah. That was tried and true for sure.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay, what's another number? Pick another number,
Okay.
please.
I will do. I'm gonna do. Let's do 250. Let's see what's
250? Okay, let me scroll.
yeah. Let's see what question made you stop. Like
Okay.
we'll see what like you're like. No, no, no. That's good. That's good.
Okay, 250. What are you currently worried about? These
Oh,
range from
ooh,
ridiculous to serious to funny to sad. They run the
yeah.
gamut.
What am I
If you'd rather not
currently?
answer this one, it's fine. We can pick another number.
No, no. This is good because I have two. I have one that's like a small one and one that's like a slightly heavier one. My lower back pain. It's not. I know that it's a muscle thing. I just don't know how many more days I have to wake up and immediately do cat cow pose stops hurting as bad as it
Oh,
does. Um, like I'm not like my dad has chronic back pain, but like my dad's been a bigger guy since he was like 20 and has like I mean he does a really labor intensive job. So at 26 years old, sloppy hands as a full time entertainer. I'm like, what am I doing with and playing the acoustic guitar? It's not like I'm lugging huge amps or drums everywhere. It's like, what have I done? What have I done to my back? Like I've done nothing to deserve this. Um, yeah, yeah. And then the general stuff, everybody's. I try to be the. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do about it? I didn't get into this, but the general stuff, everybody everybody's concerned about the environment, the economy. Like
yeah.
I have a good, I'm not one of those people that is like saving and pining for a better life. Like I would like a nicer apartment at some point, but I am a renter through and through. You want me to mow my own lawn? No, thank you. Like
Exactly. I was like,
absolutely
no,
not.
no,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
will
yeah.
pay a
No.
high rent for someone to do that for me. Exactly.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
for sure. You want me?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The
No.
fridge is on the fritz. Hello, I need a new
Yeah,
fridge.
like
Exactly.
I am a renter through and through. I will
Yes,
never be, and I'm a great tenant. Like
yes,
even
me
if you were
too.
a fucking slummy landlord, I'm the first person to be like, whatever you need, I will repaint this motherfucker if you want me to. Like I don't care. Just please God, don't like don't raise that rent and don't let me
Exactly.
keep living here.
Let me
Um,
stay, please.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I'm not concerned about like saving money for bigger and better things. It's just a general anxiety and frustration with like you can't not see the problem, right? Like whoever you are in power, like you can't not see the problem and you can't not in Canada specifically, but across the world really, like you can't not hear 50 million people telling you that there's a
Yes,
problem
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do
Yeah.
about it? Like I don't
Exactly.
want to wait. I don't want to wait once every 4 years for there to be some possibility of a change. And honestly, I mean, like I don't hate the guy as much as people that really hate the guy, but like we've had the same dude for almost 10 years now. Like it's like what has changed other than the legalization of pot? So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah.
So, okay, let's do one more
All
and
right.
then
Okay. All right. I feel like they were less heavy in the 70 area, so let's do 65.
65. Okay.
It's
What's
like, do
the
you fear the finality of life?
So 65 is what's the closest you've ever come to being arrested?
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm a good boy, but I hopped I hopped a fence. I was like, probably wouldn't have been arrested, but this is the closest thing I can think of. At my school, we had like mania. School's out in June, so the end of May we would do like a big party that was like a celebration of like the last two periods, maybe the last 3-4 hours of school. They would go, all right, we rented bouncy castles, we're gonna have a party, and the incentive was go to the bouncy castles and have fun with your peers and everything like that. But the crew that I was always with, we would just skip because you were allowed to. You could just
Okay.
skip. We were the only school in the limestone district though that did that. So we would go and skip, and we got this brilliant idea to go to a quarry. And
Like
we're
a
like, oh,
quarry
fucking,
with
we'll
like
have the whole,
rocks and stuff, like a
yeah, with like rocks in the water
okay.
and everything like that. And there's quite a few of them that are privately owned. I'd been to a quarry before that was like owned by my mom's friend's husband or something like that. So it's like I was not aware that there were those types of quarries, and then we're going to be blasting dynamite soon. Please
Oh,
don't go anywhere near here. And
wow.
that was the one that we went to, was
Oh,
the
we're
do
gonna
not
blast down.
trespass.
Dude, oh wow.
And I was such an idiot. I saw a huge no trespassing sign, but right underneath it was a sign that said open quarry. And I was like, they're sending mixed signals here. Like one of these.
When they meant open as in
Yes,
there's
yeah,
a
they
big
meant that
giant crater that
yeah,
you're gonna
yeah, we just blasted dynamite
not open as in come on
here.
in.
Please don't go into your place. Like yeah, yeah. So of course we go. We swim for like 15 minutes, and
You were
then
swimming in there too.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. How I don't have psoriasis, or that's probably because
Exactly.
I'm half black. Honestly, like that's where black privilege comes into play. Is like we don't get skin disease
Yeah,
unless it's
exactly.
on our elbows and shit. Like,
That's just ashy
so,
sometimes.
yeah, 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 yeah,
It's like
yeah.
ashiness.
That's
That's the
just
extent of our
yeah,
skin
just
skin
fucking
issues.
ninja dust, like fucking yeah. That's a distraction. That's what I did to the cop. That's how I got out of there without
You're
getting
like,
arrested. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, how I got out of there without getting arrested actually was by playing Nickelback. That was he's like, oh, okay, he's one of us. He's good. He's good. No, but no, the
wow.
truck came out of nowhere, started honking the horn, and everything like that. And of course, the guy didn't call the cops or anything. It just so happened that we bolted out of there, hopped the fence. As soon as we hopped the fence, a cruiser was driving by.
Oh wow.
Just worst luck, slows down to a crawl. And I am like, don't worry, guys, I'll take care of this one. Walk up to the cop cruiser. Sorry, officer, we were just, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, shouldn't you guys be in school? And I'm trying to explain May to this guy. It sounds ridiculous. So
Yeah,
he
we didn't
starts getting
feel
a little
like
bit,
being in the bouncy castle, so
yeah,
we
yeah,
split.
yeah. He's like, okay, all
Yeah, the
right, all
bouncy
right.
castle wasn't exciting
And then
enough,
he's,
so we came to the quarry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And he goes, all right, I can't get you on the truancy. He's like, if this is a thing, it's a thing, I guess. He's like, but what were you doing trespassing on no trespassing thing? And I said what I said to you. I said, well, it says no trespassing, but right underneath it says open quarry. and he takes his glasses off, does this, puts his glasses back on, and says,
Get the
"Have a
fuck out
nice
of
day,
here.
kids," and then fucking drives away. It's like fucking the education system has like this school, the only school in the district is just like all their kids are on bouncy castles right now, and he's like, these kids don't know how to read. What's like, yeah, like immediately like drove to the high school and arrested my principal. Like he's like, what are you doing? Like,
Oh God, that's hilarious.
yeah,
That's
yeah. So
hilarious. I can see you, an officer.
yeah, I was so
Mixed
genuine too. I'm like,
signals.
I've never been in trouble like this. Like, this really is an honest mistake. And he's like, no, I believe you, you fucking moron. Like,
Yeah, I believe that you believe that this is an honest mistake. And I'm
yeah,
frightened
yeah,
right now.
yeah,
Oh, that's funny. That's
yeah,
so
yes,
funny.
yes, straight up, yeah, yeah. That's what I mean, though. Art jobs for sure. Art jobs for sure. No problem. Ask me to do anything that involves common sense, though. I'm fucked. Yeah, yeah,
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. This was so much fun. This was
yeah.
so
This was
much
a ton of
fun.
fun.
So where can people find you if they want to follow you or know what you're up to next? Like where can people find you?
But on every social media platform, it's at Logan Doing Stuff, which I think is a great name because that's exactly what I'm doing. Whether it's music or comedy, you're gonna get promotions for both type of shows. So just show up to whatever place I'm talking about, and just be happy with what you get. All right. And I also have a podcast with my three best friends called Breaking Rules, and you can follow us at Ruckus Comedy or Ruckus Productions. If you type in Ruckus Comedy, we're probably going to be the thing that pops up. But it's a fun podcast. We with the last episode that just dropped, I'm not sure when this one comes out, but one of the episodes that one of most recently dropped started off with a nipple tug of war between two of the comedians on the show, because I bought nipple clamps from Wicked Wanda's, and they thought it was a good idea to see who could rip the nipple off the other one.
The other one who could do it first.
So yeah, that's what I'm working with in terms of friendship. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I'll include those links in the show notes for this
Awesome.
episode. And thank you again so much. I miss you as I haven't seen you in a while, like a month or something.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't
it's
seen you
yeah, it's
in a while. So I
yeah,
look
yeah.
forward to seeing you in person very, very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Likewise, likewise. This was a ton of fun.
This is a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
So
cool.
till next time, everyone. Thank you.